Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell, part 3, probably the end. I could keep going on this topic, but that's why I created a playlist and then putting them in the playlist for it. But on It's Me Jessie, if you're familiar with her channel, she's not Mormon, but the missionaries came to her door one December year ago, not a year ago, but a year from December. And so without her father or her pastor knowing, she decided to research the Mormon church. Let me publish part 2 here. Close. 8 people with 2 likes on the first one. Oh, okay. Alrighty, let me get out of here. But on her channel, as I occasionally comment, trying to help her out with her research, giving her information to further research, but she's given up on it because she thinks she knows better on how to do research. Oh well. There's a guy named David Burns who's at least claiming to be Mormon. If he's not Mormon, and I had fun with him the first round as I called him a Russian asset, a Russian spy. He is on at least her channel, trolling Mormons, or former whatever Mormons, to promote and defend the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And with me, he started the debate that the current church is the exact same church that Joseph Smith organized, and that Joseph Smith was the one who made Brigham Young the successor. And so, in this latest round, I again brought it up to pick on him, because he draws first blood, and so because he draws first blood, it's just fun. On the first go around, I even published our debate into a Amazon publication, and I think has debate in the title. You'd have to type in Travis Wayne Goodsell debate, and maybe it'll show up. Amazon's not the greatest for finding things, but he is stuck, or at least I don't think so anymore, because I'm not seeing him replying today. He has been stuck into that kind of thinking, that the current situation was the exact same situation that Joseph Smith was using. The exact same organization, the exact same succession process, the exact same conferences, the whole thing. He thinks it's exactly the same. No, it wasn't. But I've been having fun with him. That's part of the brainwashing that occurs, is that when something bad happens to the church because of the church's crimes, such as polygamy, the church then goes silent, eventually complies with continued pressure from the government, and then they proceed under the new ways, ignoring the past and hoping that Mormons over time forget all about the past as successive generations emerge who know nothing about the past, and the church then says, this is how we are, We were never that way. We never practiced polygamy. We're the good guys. Those FLDS, they're the bad guys. So that's a lying and deceptive tactic that works for brainwashing the masses, is letting time go by and hoping people forget, and then come out and experiment by making false claims. So that's one thing to watch out for. Another thing to watch out for, you've seen it now that we're in primary season. Democrats are in denial that Trump is now the king of America, and they're all focused on, we got to get a candidate to compete against Trump in the election to win. No, guys, you're not winning. Trump is king, which means it will be rigged. Not just because he's gone public with Biden is under investigation. No, he's going to actually manipulate the data and the voting booths and gerrymandered districts and all the scams that have been going on in all the various countries or states, like Georgia, where the now governor purposely rigged the election by suppressing the votes of the blacks to prevent the black candidate for governor from winning. And she was so close, despite all his attempts to rig the election. That's how popular she is. And she should have won, and she should have kept on contesting and forcing everybody's vote to count. Because she would have won. She would be governor. But you'll see the Democrat news doing all sorts of polls now as to which candidate is electable. If you're unfamiliar with polls, the polls typically only call about 1,000 people. And they claim that it's a broad spectrum, remember that spectrum thing? Of the populace. And only 1,000. So I never get called. Nobody asks for my opinion. And from that, the news then has their news according to what the polls tell them to believe in. And so philosophy calls this technique small sampling fallacy, where you're claiming a majority with only a small sampling. And the news keeps falling for it. It's unbelievable how many times they trust and rely on poll data for their news stories. The only good data that can be gleaned is if we had an actual fair election, because you have actual stats from everyone involved. That determines who the popular candidate is, for example. But all these other polls are not accurate. Not even plus or minus whatever percentage that these pollsters claim is the percentage error. And it's just, the news purposely works with the poll companies to create news. And so with the impeachment, the pollsters specifically said, 51% of America wants Trump impeached. 75% of America wants Trump impeached and removed from office. And the left-wing news was using the poll data as their justification to pressure Congress or the Senate to impeach Trump and convict him. You know, nice try, but the candidates for office already know the trick. You're not going to sway them on poll numbers. But that's how they do their news. And so they present small sampling fallacy as an ad populum fallacy. Because all of this is opinion. It's not legitimate statistics like the number of people who voted for a specific candidate, as an election does. These are opinion polls, which means they're not fact. They're not real stats. And so it's frustrating when you hear reporters asking questions of, what's your response? What do you believe? What's your opinion? How do you feel? God, that's not news. And so that tactic is being forced upon us on the government realm. In the religion realm, there's insurance fraud going on in the church. The church has successfully been able to get actual statistics of every baptism as they create a membership for each baptism. And so, yes, we have over 16 million in the church. Unfortunately, that's not the number of active people in the church. And active people are those who at least attend church. If they're not attending church, and even if they're just going for Easter and Christmas, that's not good enough to be considered active in the church. Because you're not paying tithing, are you? In order to be active, you have to be paying tithing. That's part of the protection racket that's going on. The insurance fraud is where the church wants to build real estate or build temples on real estate. And they have to convince a particular nation or city or whatever to allow them to build in their area. And so that's where the membership fraud numbers come in. Oh, we got 16 million. We want to have you participate in our economic boom for your area. It's all insurance fraud because the church doesn't actually have the numbers to justify the building of a temple in many places of the world, especially currently, as there's only 3 million active, the majority of which are in Utah. And so this then utilizes the type of small sampling in which they are claiming that their numbers are sufficient to justify the expense for a temple, but at the same time they're trying to claim an ad populum fallacy also, in that they are deceiving people into believing that the majority of Mormons are justification for a temple. But it also affects the church in a different way with ad populum, where Mormons believe in the fascist principle of binding Mormons together as one in order to establish truth. That was a shocker when I heard that Sunday school lesson. and priesthood lesson, and probably somebody used it as a talk in sacrament meeting. Yeah. So, yes, when people are united under one common belief, that does strengthen people. But if it's a belief, that's an opinion. That's not truth. That's not knowledge, if you remember the previous video. And if you've brainwashed your membership into thinking that you're the one true church and everybody else is wrong, and you're misinforming and disinforming the membership with church history and with doctrine, with the lies in the primary songs and in the hymns, then yeah, you can see the Mormon or the leadership wanting the spread of the fascist principle of a unified belief, a unified opinion, and nobody can go contrary to the belief or opinion, which is completely contrary to the actual doctrine of the church. Is you're not supposed to just stop at belief. You're supposed to produce fruit. We'll liken the word unto a seed. Alma chapter 32, verse 28. And that's the quotes that I put in the previous video and the description. And so that's also part of the danger of Mormon brainwashing, is not only are they keeping Mormons dumb by not pursuing knowledge, not thinking for themselves, not following a belief principle into a knowledge of truth or wrong, falsehood. That's suppression, but also it's dangerous in the fact that they're promoting fascism in the Mormon church, because that's what fascism is the brainwashing category of we're the people you need to trust, and you just need to believe, you just need to have faith, and you'll be protected. And so and with the lies, they just say, well, well, just wait until the millennium, or wait until you're dead, then you'll know all things. Oh, isn't that convenient? Wait until I'm dead to know the truth. Yeah, a little too late then. So I hope you understand better how brainwashing works, and the danger that it causes when you have corrupt organizations like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints telling Mormons what they can believe in and what they can't believe in. And so if you remember the pornography videos I did, that's also part of it. It's because the leadership distract Mormons from the truth by presenting another idol to worship and fear. And that's a common religious tactic. Bad news. So hopefully I'll get somewhere to shutting down the church one of these days, but we'll see.